Hey guys, welcome back. Mid-game you're starting to see firmwares, they look like this. And a good set can totally change how your endgame plays. I've tested 5 firmware sets that actually matter. I'll show you stats, footage, and exactly what to hoard. Let's get into it. Alright, quick firmware rules before I jump into the builds. The same firmware can stack up to 3 times. And that third stack is where the big bonuses kick in. You got 5 gear slots total that can hold firmwares. So you can mix and match a 3 stack with 2 singles or a double. That'll shape your builds. For testing, I ran every setup a few times in the same area with the same gear so you can see how that actually plays. You're going to want to start banking your firmwares as soon as you find the ones you want, because after you beat the campaign, the transfer machine unlocks. This machine allows you to move firmwares from lower tier gear, or any tier gear really, onto other gear. And secondly, you're not just copying or transferring that firmware from one item to another. You're actually destroying the original item when you make the copy. So keep that in mind. And if one or more of these builds click for you, you'll know exactly which firmwares to keep instead of junking them by accident. And if you're enjoying this content, please consider liking and subscribing. Alright, now on to the builds. This is the build that turns your grenades into your primary weapon. Non-stop spam, non-stop explosions. Gadget Ahoy gives me stacks of cooldown reduction and explosion damage. Every kill boosts my total damage and lets me throw again faster. Then I pair that with Get Throwing, which bumps up Ordnance damage and splash radius. Together you end up with chucking grenades consistently and wiping bigger groups of enemies with every throw. I then took this build and applied it to my gear and took it out for a run on drill site. This ended up being way more fun than I expected. Just being able to spam grenades non-stops makes clearing trash mobs stupid easy. I actually ran the drill site on this one more than once because I was having so much fun bombing up everything. There's something to be said about the grenade mod I have. I'll show it here real quick. The grenade mod I was using was a singularity grenade and it had no self-damage, so I could throw it right at my feet. It wouldn't blow myself up and it would pull all the enemies in and lift them up, locking them down. Like, they didn't stand a chance. They were just toast. The only issues I noticed with this, and maybe it's this grenade specifically because it was a flame grenade, when the bosses had armor, it wouldn't juggle them. So the bosses, I needed something to break their armor before I could slow them down with the grenades. And as far as this build goes, highly recommended. It was a lot of fun. Next up is the healing build. This is a build you really don't feel working until everything goes wrong. If you like staying in the fight no matter what's shooting at you, this one's going to be an instant click. Lifeblood gives you 3 stacks of sustain perks, so every kill pumps your health back up, and stacks more regen on top of that. I pair that then with Baker, which gives you your rep kit cooldown and some more shield capacity. Together, this is constant healing. Kits refill you, rep kits top you off, and your shields stay active way longer than they should. I took this set, applied it to my gear, then took it to the drill site for some testing. Yeah, in the drill site, I really didn't notice anything. Your shield basically does all the work. I mean, my shields were massive compared to my health, so it's taking all the damage. Yeah, I can see the green coming up on my screens as I'm getting shots, showing that I'm regenerating health. But I'm already at full health, so it really is not doing much. But eventually, my shield's cracked, and it does much. You can see it regenerating health as you're taking damage and you're doing damage. So as long as you're doing damage, you're regenerating health. I even went down in this one as well, and you can compare. If you go down normally, you don't get any health back when you get a second wind. Your shields go back to full, but your health stays where it's at. And in this build, your health goes right back up, even after a second wind. My only take on this is it's kind of planning to fail, this setup. It only comes online when you're doing poorly, and that's not my usual playstyle. But if you like having a build where you have a big safety net, this definitely delivers on that. And for players who push into harder content or who get swarmed a lot, this build doesn't feel super powerful until the exact moment you need it, and then it'll bail you out without even having to think about it. So there is some use. Alright, next up is the crit build. This one's a nice one. This is probably technically the strongest build. The Deadeye stacks boost your crit damage and consistency. I then paired it with Goo JFC. Goo GIFs. Goo GIFs. Goo GIFs. Goo GIFs gives you extra action skill cooldown and action skill damage, so they pair nicely with the crit damage. Again, I applied all these skills to my base kit and went down to drill site to test them out. And right away, you don't really feel anything different from your normal playstyle. Nothing's too flashy, nothing's big, nothing's really different. Hit you in the face like, yeah, this is a different build. It just, you know, the guys go down faster. Trash mobs go down faster, as they always do. The real difference is, if you're landing weak spot hits consistently, this build really shines. Otherwise, you might not even realize how strong this build actually is. Probably the best build for harder difficulties as well, so keep that in mind. Oh, the next build's a fun one. This is the melee build. This one only works really well if you're willing to get in their face, and then it rewards you for doing exactly that. This setup revolves around triggering Nova Blast on melee kills. The idea is to close the gap, swing, and blow up nearby enemies. It's meant to reward aggressive play, but your character has to actually be good at melee to get real value from it. Oh, I really didn't like this build at first. Melee felt awful. It took like 3 hits to get a guy, even a trash mob, to get him killed with the melee kill. However, when I threw on my skill, I could run around the map at like Mach 3 and shoot the guys with rockets as I'm running up to them. And by the time I get up to them, then they were 1 hit, and I could just pop them. And that was a lot of fun. But it's not so good for bosses, though. So, it's kind of like it has this thing, but it's limited. Alright, we're at the last build. This one's all about spamming your action skill. If your class actually wants to spam, this one turns into non-stop utility. And this one we got more Googifs. Googifs increases your action skill cooldown rate and boosts your action skill damage. Pair that with some Oscar Mike and you get some increased reload speed and some more damage based on the emptiness of your magazine. And so that's the theory, but what it actually feel like in gameplay. My character's build, it felt pretty muted. My action skill already stayed up a long time for my skills, and so the extra cooldown really didn't change much. The extra skill damage bonus wasn't very noticeable for me in these runs. The Oscar Mike reloading damage window felt like a small buff, but not really game-changing. I even have a gun with a super long magazine, and it really, maybe it's just a gun. Maybe it's just a gun. I don't like it, though. This build seems strong in theory, but in my experience, it was pretty underwhelming. Yeah, I could see it being good if you have a class that has a lot of spammability in your skills, or maybe if you find a legendary weapon with a very large magazine. But other than that, I'd probably take a pass on this last one. And hey, if you tried any builds that you think are really fun and work well, drop them in the chat. I'd love to see what you're running. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. It all helps out. Thank you. Till next time. Bye-bye.
I am your pepper, Mr. Salts. Now, sprinkle me on your booty as you shake, shake, shake.